Welcome back to Duro3 YouTube channel. In this video I am installing, this is an instructional and installation video as well. I'm installing a new product. This is a yLED-ac-AE. This one is to go into the elevation rotators from Kempro and Yaesu, and it's a display illumination for both the displays in one unit. So yeah, so this is just happens to be a Kempro, and it's a 5400B. This was the later version. This one has had a fair few upgrades done to it, which we'll see when we get inside. But the yLED, same yLED board, it has an extra little small terminal block, has a normal adjustment for the brightness, and we have the larger terminal block for the input, bridge rectifier, load resistor and capacitor. But this one has two adhesive feet backed LED strips. There's a 12 volt. I've had to do a couple little loops where the original LEDs would normally sit, and where the last LED used to sit, I put the terminal block, and because it has adhesive feet to be stuck up the or they sit here, and this feet will sit inside, but you'll see that when I get inside. So we shall get move forward. So what you need for this install is a little jeweler's screwdriver, Phillips, a little baby one, a pair of side cutters, a larger Phillips screwdriver, a pair of strippers. You can also use this happens to be a Milwaukee soldering iron, and you're going to need something to clean the surfaces with where you're going to put the adhesive feet on. So let's get stuck into it. Rightio. So first things first, turn him sideways. We're going to remove the screws from the side casing. You might notice there's been a lot of mods done to the back of this one. People would see another video. So it's got cinch sockets on the back here and an ISC socket. So it's just had a few mods, and the inside's been cleaned up a bit too as well. It's just something that I've done with this one. Oh yeah, those off. Prise the casing off. When it decides to come off. Righty-ho-dy, get over the other road. Okay, as you may notice, if you've ever looked inside one of these before, they're a bit of a wire mess, so I've tidied it up a fair bit. So what we need to do now is remove the two screws that hold the front panel. Righty-ho-dy. Now I need to lay them down. Now what you may need to do, one thing, a bit of cardboard or something to protect the front panel from the sharp edges. So basically you put that in there somehow, just fold it up, because there's so many sharp edges you'll damage the front panel, and we don't want that. So just put it in there like that. Even a bit of rag or something will do. So let's put the rotor for the present. Now we need to get the PCB itself off. So there's 4 screws. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws which hold the PCB basically to the back of the display meters. Put that back in there again. We'll try to. That's better. A bit hard to use, so we'll get those out. See what we're doing. Well, I should say you can see what I'm doing. I should say. Working from behind the camera I am, so sometimes I don't look at the camera, I'm looking at the job. So 4 screws. These are a little M3 with a little spring washer attached to it. Down there. Righty-o-dy. Oh, one more to go. Missed that one. I did say 4. Arm out of there. There's always one. Okay, put that aside. Okay, so generally speaking, the wiring is a bit more of a mess, so you may have to change how you're doing this to suit, because the wiring is a bit of a mess and the wires are a bit tight up in here. So then we undo the 4 screws that hold these little PCBs, which holds the original bulbs. So we undo those 4 screws, get those out of the road to start with. Waiting on the camera again. So those out of the road. There we go. Oops, I've done the wrong one. I did the front panel, which we're going to do anyway. Okay, 4 screws out for that. Okey-dokey. Got a cold and a runny nose. Damn. Okay, that gets out of the road. That means I can move the PCB back because the wires are attached to the PCB. So now we can undo the 4 screws that hold the front panel on. So it's already on that one up in that corner there. So you have 1, 2, 3 and 4. So you can see what I'm doing. Yes, undo the 4 screws. There. There's 4 screws, and I probably should put the light on as well. But I'll do that. More light in the subject. Okay, this runny nose cold thing. Okay, so now sideways we can just physically remove the front panel like that, which will basically expose the little cover strips, green cover strips. You can leave them on or take them off. I'll be leaving them on for this particular job. So basically we need to clean up in the surface. Now I need to turn this back around again. I'm going to get this out of the road for now. So basically we're going to be sticking the PCB up on this top lip on the inside. So we'll have to clean the inside. So I've got a cleaning rag here, a bit of cleaning fluid. I'm using Prepsol. So we clean up in here. We only need to clean from about there to here. My bad, it's sitting on the flat against the edge. Oh, geez, I'm not even thinking properly. So it's sitting, one foot sits just here, another foot sits just there, just shy of the screw hole. I'll make sure that all fits in the right position. We also need to clean out the top of this area here. So make sure it's nice and clean. Some may have a reflector in here. You're going to have to remove the reflector because we need to get the LED strips up hard against the front panel, otherwise it won't fit back together. So first off, remove this reflective tape in here. It looks a bit like tin foil. I think it's a goldy colour. This was a goldy colour, and there's other ones which are silver, I suppose. They're all different. So we clean these surfaces up in here and clean everything else you want to clean. So let's move that aside for now. Get these out of the road. We need to. I'm going to get these. These are the original ones. And you can see one's is a little, looks like a resistor style, and someone's actually replaced it in this one. So basically, we're going to get rid of that. So for this thing, I'm just going to cut them off, and I'll tin them up again. So just for time wise, normally you can just put them aside now, and we'll kick my soldering iron in the guts, get it going. and it's 12 volt. I'm just going to strip this up. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway for this job. So we clean those up a little bit, and we'll keep working forward while my soldering iron is heating up. And put that lid back on that. Righto, so we need to grab the little, first thing we need to do is we grab the little jeweler screwdriver, and we're going to remove the LEDs from the PCB and the terminal blocks. So just undo the two screws, or reduce the two, undo the two screws. That will this is two separate items now. So that's make it much easier to install. Okay, my soldering iron is ready. Going to tin him up. I said you don't have to tin this, but I'm going to tin it. So I should put my glasses on for doing this, but I haven't. Whatever, I can get to it. Tin that up. Rightio. Turn that off. Get it back out of the road so it doesn't bloody fall on me. I should lay him on his back. Out of the road. Okay, righty-o. So we'll do this up here first. Once you make sure this is all nice and dry, if you've wetted it all, make sure it's all nice and dry. You're going to do a couple of dry installs so you can get this done in one go. Now, looking from the front, you turn it in the right orientation. You turn him straight over. Now, this little lead has got to be placed on the left hand side. So basically if you look at the orientation this way, the right hand side, sorry, it's going to be, when you take it to a finger, the wires are going to come through. I'll turn this back around this way so you can get the orientation right. So this is now upside down, as you can see, running from the corner there, because this has to sit on this side. So this little flying lead has to come through on this side, which is the azimuth side. So it says azimuth here, so it's on the azimuth side. So it's got to sit right up in here, evenly spaced along that top edge, but it has to be really tight against the top edge, and it should fit in that it's not going past this lip that's there. So you just got to orientate it, make sure it's square, getting it right in the right position, and basically once you think you've got that right, you have to take off. You can do it one at a time, or you can do both at the same time. Just if I get my fingers going, undo the double-sided tape. Okay, so I'm going to grab both of these off to make it easier for myself. Bend one out of the road, so I know roughly where this is going to go now. You've got to get the wiring behind that post, and then make sure it sits in exactly the right position you want, all the way down, all the way against the back of the front panel, getting it about the right position, holding it down all the way. I'm only doing one at a time. Let me get the other one. And we put him into there, push him into the base of the, right the very down the bottom. So you just want it all the way down, nice and tight. Otherwise the front panel or the chassis will have a hard time going back on, and you may actually do shorting out and whatnot. So basically, press hard. They are now in pretty much where we need them to go. Just make sure they're all good. Rightio, that can be now put aside, so that's ready to go. I'll blow my nose again, sorry about this. Okay, now we can move forward. I'll move those bits of paper out of the road. So now, how far can we come over here? So we get the PCB. So now this the PCB is going to be the right way up with the words, all the lettering and everything up the right way. The terminal block screw hole is accessed through this side, so your wiring will be coming through there, and it's going to be sitting now the feet. We're doing a dry run again first to make sure it fits in what you want it to do. It's got to sit hard against this these feet and this edge up in here, but you have to leave enough room for this mounting screw for the front panel in this top corner here. So that screw that mounts into that hole there, you've got to leave enough room for it to go in, otherwise you're going to have a big problem. So basically it's this edge of this is going to be going against that edge of that opening, thereabouts. So fairly close to that. You leave yourself about 1 mil and a bit just here on this side, enough in there. And that's got to go hard up against the top edge here. So basically that looks all good. So again, just peel off the 3M feet covers. Get yourself all lined up. You only get one hit at this, so get yourself lined up in the right position, leaving the right spacings, hard up against the top, and then basically you can push down on the 2 screws, and then you can try and get your hand and fingers and maybe even a screwdriver or something, a baby one will probably push down on those ends of those to make sure they're all hard up. So now I'm going to hold this up so you can see where it's sitting. It's sitting right up in there, nice and tight. And when you turn him around, looking at it from the front, you'll see, oops, let's come up so you can see through there, into there. So basically that is now installed, except for we need to get our wiring in here. Now it's AC, so it doesn't matter which wire goes to which terminal. So one of these wires is longer than the other for some reason. As you can see, one wire is longer than the other than replacing it. So we'll put the shorter of the two, we'll put the long wire in first. So the purple wire is longer. So we're going to get my Phillips driver, just make the back these out a little bit. Terminal blocks. So we'll put the long one. When I get your fingers working, and trying to work around the camera is not easy. So, and plus trying to see what I'm doing here. So put the purple one in the far side. Do him up. Hit the grey one. Oh, the other ones may have different colours, but this is the Chempro. So they might have different colours. I just need to see what I'm doing. Oh, I went underneath it, so let's take it over top of the other wire. Get in the hole. Do up the terminal block. Alrighty, so that is back onto there. And then, just so we can operate things better and hold things much better, and so let's just put our 4 screws that hold the PCB to the panel meters. Grab those 4 screws. This means it's a bit easier to. Oh, listen, we can't do that. I've got to put the other. Don't mind me, I'm only half asleep. I'm going to put the front panel back on first, because I can't get to these screws. Boop boop. Get down the road. Right here. We need the screws that hold the front panel are longer than the rest of the screws, so they are slightly longer. So I better grab. I didn't put them all together. So there's 1, 2, and 3, 4. First thing we need to do. Right, I stuffed up. So let's get our front panel back on. Now the front panel has to be put on, and this wire has to come through the gap. If I can get it in here. The gap between the chassis and the PCB, basically right where the terminal block is. So you get that in the right position. Line up your direction switches, push them in, and then find our 4 screws. Let's put this back together. Put our screws back into here. Basically the front panel is now done. Do our bottom 2 screws. Okay. This one down here. Righty-righty. Running nose again. Okay, so let's grab our little jeweler's screwdriver again. And we're going to, now these wires have to be put in the right way. So I've coloured the terminal block red and black, and I've actually coloured, I will be colouring, I have coloured these ones. And we pull this wire all the way through, twist him around where you want it to do, slide it into 2 little holes of the terminal block. Working around the camera again makes it pretty hard. I'm going to go grab my glasses. I should have put my glasses on before starting doing this. Note to self, put glasses on when you're doing this. So, shadows everywhere. And get this in the right side. So I'm trying to get... Oh, I know why. The screws are halfway in. That's why they're not going in. Back the screws out. So let's push the little lever down. There's a little cover lever in these ones. Not a screw at the base of these ones. They've got a little flat area which is pushed down by the 2 screws. So you put the two wires in. Make sure they're in. Nip up the 2 terminal lock screws. Give a bit of a tug, make sure they're all good. And then just push the wiring down out of the road so it doesn't get hooked up anywhere. Keep it out of the road. Now we can put the front panel back on. Grab our biggest screwdriver. PCB back on. I think I said front panel, no. PCB onto, mount the PCB to the panel meters, that's what I'm trying to say. Now I've put the 2 outside ones in. I always do the 2 outside ones first. I do not tighten, then I can actually physically do the 2 centre ones separately. So get those back into there. You may have to pull wiring and push wiring around because some of it's pretty tight. That's why I've moved things around in here because I've rewired everything in this particular controller. If you've looked in that previous video, there's no motor start capacitors in here, so I was able to move the transformer and everything around a bit. So okie dokie. So now, making sure all the wiring is out of the road, we can now do the reassembly of the front panel. So we just slide the front panel back into the bottom chassis, grab, now we need the right screws. There's what am I missing here? I need the silver screws for the side. These are actually like I think they're stainless, I think, or they might be chromed or something on these ones. So make sure I've got all those ones. So put these 2 in here. I was wondering why I had some spare screws over this, because I tooled those PC boards out. Make sure that's the correct one, the stainless ones, if they are stainless. So I've got, there should be 4 screws. They look identical, except that's a chrome one, and that one there is zinc plated. So I've got some things all mixed up here. So okay, I have 4, there we are, there's the 4 screws, which are the chrome ones, and I've lost, oh there's the one there. Okay, so there's our 4 screws. That's on the side, out of the way. So at this point we're all back together again. You can see down in through there, it's all in. Make sure your wiring is sort of down the other road so it doesn't get hooked on these sharp edges. So there we go, we're in. So at this point we can set the brightness and everything up. Now, as you can still see, we can get down here to the brightness adjustment. I've set these about halfway. So basically I better go and grab the power lead. Because I forgot to bring it over before. Oh, here's what it is. Now I'm not going to hook the potentiometer up, so we're just going to plug this in. Oh, and I forgot to bring an adjuster screwdriver. That's what I need. Forgot to mention, you need a little flat jeweler's screwdriver or a trim pot adjuster screwdriver for this. Now there's a lot of light here, so you're probably not going to see this that well, so I'm going to aim it down at an angle, and hopefully this is all good. And we'll turn him on and see it come to life. There's so much light here, so you're not going to see it. So then, yep, they're definitely on. So then you can adjust your brightness with this here. If I hold this up here in the dark light, it's where I've just turned this up flat out. So you can see the green glow. I'm backing it off. You can see the brightness come up on the edge. So I'm just going to set this halfway for the present moment until I get an area where I can actually physically see it with all this light around here. So there we go. That's all illuminated. You can now put the top housing back on again. Just wrong way around. This one has a few scratches at the back, but it is what it is. So basically all I do with these is I just grab them here on each side with the fingers and the thumbs at the top, and basically you're flexing it out, because you've got to get down past wires and cable ties and other stuff, and just means you just get it on the outside, so you're flexing it out, then dropping it in and down like that. Unplug this, get that out of the rope, and put our 4 screws back in again. Alright, turn around. Much easier when you haven't got wires hanging out the back of it. So, like power cords and wiring and whatnot, so best to remove all that when you're doing this job. There you go. There we have it. One KR5400B with LED illumination, yLED. Part number is yLED-ac-AE. So yLED-ac, which is AC version, and it's AE as in azimuth elevation. I went azimuth elevation. So there we go. All done. I'll see you in the next project. Catch ya. Bye.